Welcome to the Build on Beauty podcast, where beauty is born skin deep. Now, here's your host, author, speaker, entrepreneur, Cornell Jermaine.
Thank you all so much for joining us today. We have a very special guest. She is a speaker, author, philanthropist, and entrepreneur. Please help me welcome Dr. Traci Lynn. Dr. Lynn, how are you today?
Wonderful, Cornell. How are you today?
Doing great. I'm so excited to talk to you because you have, as an entrepreneur and just a businesswoman, you have made so many remarkable accomplishments in your career, and you're continuing. You're still at it. And it's such a great time for entrepreneurs, and I think this is going to be a great interview for those women and men who are looking to embark upon something that is a passion for them, because you've done that in many instances, and we're going to get into that. I want to start with your beginnings. Many people know you as an entrepreneur with Traci Lynn Jewelry, but they don't know where you started. Where was Dr. Lynn years ago? What was your beginnings?
All right. Well, let's go all the way back. You're talking about the beginnings. Let's go all the way back, because we need to answer this question, because this is always the question: are entrepreneurs born or made? And that's the question. I don't know if we can fully answer it, but I'm just going to take you on my journey. So at 4 years old, I was living with my grandmother in Philadelphia, and she sold clothes for a living. That's what she did full time, and she was very successful. Here she was, a woman who was on her own. She had raised her children, and now she's selling clothes. And me, 4 years old, instead of going to daycare, I went with her. And my job was to remember the customers for the day and also how much money they owed her. But look, I was counting. So I've been counting money since I was 4 years old. So I did that. I didn't even go to daycare. So I just went straight on in to get kindergarten when it was time. But so that was the beginning of the journey. And then at 15, I was living with my mother in Detroit, and she had an extra apartment. She had like a three-family flat, and I started doing hair. So I went to hair school in the evenings. I started doing hair, and from there went on to college, and I was the founder of a chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. So I did that. Then I opened up Traci's Unique Greek Paraphernalia Boutique. So entrepreneurship has always been a part of everything. And then when I finished college, I moved back to Philadelphia. I was working for a mutual fund company selling mutual funds. And then one day I realized this is not going to work. Why did I come to this moment, this epiphany? Because I fell asleep every day on my job from 12 to 1 o'clock, and I'm in my early 20s. I was bored, and I knew I couldn't continue. And I had to ask myself this question: there's got to be more to life than this. And from that moment, I began my own entrepreneurial career. I left that job. I started my own company. I started Traci Lynn Fashion Jewelry back in 1989. So it has a long beginning. There was a lot of twists and turns in there, but that is my beginning.
Wow. Now you're finding yourself in this place where you're saying there's got to be more. I think there are so many people, especially in this time, that are saying that same thing. How does one transition? How do they go from, because I think that's where people fall off. How do they go from that question to actually putting action into it?
Yeah, so you got to put feet to the faith, right? You got to do something. Or you get stuck. And I know the people listening are saying, "Oh my gosh, that's it." Because when I say that part of my story, I get so many yes, and applauses. I mean, because people feel that. They don't just hear that part. They feel that because they're there. So what do? You start your plan now. You've got to ask yourself, what is it I would do if money wasn't an issue? Someone once said, because I love what I do, I would do it for free. But because I do it so well, people will pay me for it. What is that thing in you that do so well that you don't even realize it's a gift because it's easy for you. And that's it right there, Cornell. We're gonna put our hat right there. Our gifts are easy for us, and so we don't pay attention to what they are. And you don't decide your gift. You don't decide it. You don't look and say, okay, I'm going to be a computer analyst because I see that's where the money is. No, you don't decide it. You discover it. It's already in you. You came equipped with that gift. Then you've got to just start practicing that gift. Now, with all of that being said, the biggest part is the action, the production. You've got to be willing to do something. Step out and start it. If you always wait until the time is right, the time will never be right. If you want all the ducks to line up in the row, one of them ducks are going to get out of line. You've got to go now. There is a fierce sense of urgency, entrepreneurs. I'm not talking to those of you who've already started. I'm talking to those of you who know you need to start. This is your time to make the move. And it's going to take a boldness and courage that you do know you have. You just forgot because you're surrounded by the wrong people who are not reminding you who you are.
Uh-oh, that's key there. Talk about that. Well, since we tapped into it, because I think that's important for so many. I've had to go through it, so I know there are other people who are dealing with it.
What you mean you did, Cornell? We all do, right? We all go through that. And what we have to do is start surrounding ourselves in an atmosphere that's conducive for better living, that's conducive to bring out the best in us, that's conducive for entrepreneurship. Oh, my goodness. That right there, that title is a whole different breed of people. We're not 9-to-5ers. If you got to go to work 9 to 5 and you got no energy left because you got to chill and you got to watch every reality show on TV, entrepreneurship is not for you. You got to be willing to sacrifice. You know you have it in you, but who is around in your ear? Sometimes the trusted voices are not the voices that's going to get you into that business. Why? Because they don't know. They don't have the experience to push you. That's why you got all these life coaches and all of that. You got to get some good books. You've got to start going to some great meetings, some networking sessions, and you got to hook up with like-minded people, which means that some of the people that you have been with, this is going to hurt you. Everybody comes with you, can't go with you. Sometimes people are in your life for a season and a reason. You must be wise enough and strong enough to determine, is the season up? And if it is up, have the strength to keep moving forward. Everything you need will only be provided in your movement, not in your staying still. You got to keep moving. Journey, process is a movement. It's not a staying still. As you move, well, Lord, if you show me all of that, I'll go. No, you go, and then he'll show you. What's the movement? You got to have movement. And then in the movement, Cornell, are the people you need to get you through every part of the journey.
You preach it. Look. Wow. Now, you talk about a lot of your mission being motivating people to step out of their comfort zone. Tell us about a moment when you had to take that leap from your comfort zone, because it's so easy to get settled. How did you conquer your comfort zones?
Oh, my gosh, Cornell, that's a life mission. My mission is to motivate, inspire, and change lives, and that's just not my mission in Traci Lynn Jewelry. That was my life mission before Traci Lynn Jewelry. So then we said it. 1989, I start the business. Within 3 or 4 years, I'm out of the business. Why? I'm in my 20s. I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared for the people. The best part of this business that I'm in is the people. The roughest part of the business that I'm in, the people. Listen, so you got to know how to be delivered from people. You got to guard your heart with all diligence, because out of it flows those issues that we hold too dear, and you can't move forward. You get stuck in people's stuff. the mud of life. You know, in Facebook, you gotta be careful with Facebook. Yeah. So you can get caught up deep down in the weeds. You gotta stay high. You gotta stay on a high level. So for me, here I am. I let people talk me out of my destiny, and I walked away from my business. I wasn't even 30 years old, had already made my first $1 million. I was like 28. I had already made $1 million, and I still walked away because I let people talk me out of it. So I went back to the comfort zone. I was ready to go back to work, but I didn't go back to work. Then I started speaking. Other doors started to open, but I could never really run away from my purpose. So 2006 and then 2008 really started to do my business on a national level. I came back to it. In between all that time, I opened up franchises because there was still something missing on my part. Hear me, entrepreneurs. If you don't have all the know-how, you need to get it. It's not all going to be osmosis. You're going to have to do the work and do some studying. So I didn't understand really systems and processing. I needed to learn systems and processes, and I learned that. So I had to get outside my comfort zone, do franchising, get outside my comfort zone, and become a speaker. Who knew that I had the gift inside of me? I didn't just decide to be it. I discovered that it was already in there. And then I started traveling with Les Brown. Used to open for him. That happened because I flew myself to where he was, and he got to listen to me. He heard my voice, and he has trained ears and said, I'm going to take you on tour. I didn't even win the competition. He said he was going to take the people who won the competition on tour. I was too laid back. Listen, people, do not lay back on your opportunities. When your big opportunities come, you need to bolt, go, run with the quickness towards them. I was lean back, laid back, didn't go hard, but I still got it. Why? Because I showed up. Half the battle, Cornell. I know I'm telling you like 20 different subjects, right? All in this short period of time.
It's good.
I'm talking about showing up. I'm talking about the people. I'm talking about getting outside of your comfort zone. I'm answering your question because it takes all of that. And then even today, do you even think I'm comfortable today? We just launched Canada late last year. I just bought my first corporate headquarters, purchased it. We're going into Australia and the UK. I am never in my comfort zone. I am in disruption all the time. Let me explain that. If you don't understand how to disrupt your comfort, you'll never get to that next level. You always got to see, where are your weaknesses? What do you need to do differently? We don't like the word disruption because we want the status quo. We want everything to be running smooth. But how do you know what you're really made of unless you test yourself? I'd rather test myself than to have to always be tested.
That's good.
That's how you get out your comfort zone.
Wow. Now, you talk about, you've been quoted as saying, I believe in chasing the dream. I don't chase money. Now, how do you effectively do that? Because as entrepreneurs, that's what we always thinking about. Where is the money at? How do you develop that mentality?
Because when you chase the dream, the money chases you. See, I chase what I'm here to do. See, Cornell, you can't outdo me being me. That's the problem. We're trying to be carbon copies of somebody else. Be you. Be your authentic, fingerprinted you. Nobody else is like you. Do what you came here to do, and then the resources, the people will automatically chase you down because there is a tribe for you. There is people for you, for your fingerprint, for what you do, but we're so busy trying to chase the dollar and not trying to chase the purpose. The purpose and the dream are all together. If you chase who you really are, that money will begin to chase you, and then more of it because you can handle it. Because that's in reality, you're not just about the money, which means you're going to do people right. You're going to operate your business with integrity. You're not going to do what's popular. You're going to do what's right. And then come on, right people doing it the right way. That's where the real long-lasting blessings are. That's when the money really starts chasing you down, because you've decided to live life on purpose, to chase the dream. Then the money chases you.
I love it. Now, give us some insight for those who, because I think so many times we see people in our culture who haven't had much and they arrive and get to this place where they have everything at their disposal. How do we handle that? Because I think many of us, we don't know how to handle that, and we just do it haphazardly and mess stuff up. So when we get to the success, how should we manage it and with wisdom?
First of all, one thing we have to remember, it talks about in my favorite book, Don't Think More Highly of Yourself Than You Ought To, which is not to say that you should not have confidence. I couldn't be where I am if I didn't have self-confidence, so let's just be real. But you have to remember to take other people's feelings into consideration. You also have to say, there but for the grace of God go I. So you have to have a humility that comes with that, because as much as I was up when I told you I was 28 and had already made my first million, by the time I was 30, I had lost it all. And a lot of it was because I hadn't seen that level of success duplicated in my family, so I didn't know what to do. So here's Coach Traci and your cousin Traci about to help you out for real. So when you start making the money, keep your head together. Remember, money is an amplifier. It only amplifies who you really are. Money should never change you. If you see people changing, it's because that's who they were all along. Because money, in and of itself, has no life. It's only the life you give it. It amplifies who you are. So I pray that before you get it, you're good people. So when you get it, you do good things with it, because that's what good people do when they get money. Second thing, listen. Fire Mr. Ray Ray from doing your taxes. Mr. Ray Ray don't do taxes on that level. He's always trying to be slick. You need real taxes done. That's the area where people get in trouble. They get IRS trouble. Here comes the IRS because you letting Mr. Ray Ray still touch your taxes. You have grown beyond that. At some point, certain levels of income, you need accounting firms. You need in-house accountants if you're running a corporation, and then you need an accounting firm to double-check them. Then you need to set yourselves up for reviewed statements like we do, or audited statements, so that if you are audited, you got your own audited or reviewed financials. Those are things that we don't necessarily know about. And the third thing, gratitude lends itself to generosity. How are you giving back? What are you doing to help somebody else? How are you motivating, inspiring, and changing lives? What are you doing to be the difference maker, the influencer? Because those are the powers that you already have where you are, with or without the finances right now. You influence. You have the power to do that. So those are the things that we've got to always watch and be careful about, and know how to keep the money. And then your financial team will then lead you to how to invest and how to protect.
Wow. You've given us a lot to chew on. And I'm happy about it. Your company, Traci Lynn Jewelry, for those that may be listening and want to become a part of that movement, because I think it's a movement. I have some friends and family who are a part of it, and they tell me the stories, and I'm like, this is more than just a business. This is like a movement. These women are on fire. How can the ladies get involved with your brand?
All right. Well, you're absolutely right. That is one of our sayings. It's more than just jewelry. And we do say it is a movement, because it is. Just like what I'm giving now is what I give every single month, a couple times a month. I do, all of this is included. Nobody pays anything extra to hear this motivation all the time. Sometimes they hear it so much, I just hope that they keep hearing it and keep listening, because sometimes, Cornell, what we keep seeing, we stop seeing. And that's the thing that we've got to remember, to keep seeing things. And even today, with you sharing to the people how this message is blessing you, is because sometimes you're the biggest fish in your own pond. You can't grow that way. You've got to now allow some bigger fish to get in that pond. Oops, or you got to go to a bigger pond, because bigger fish don't want to play in a baby pond. So that means for us as leaders, too, that we've always got to make sure we're getting fed. We can't keep feeding if we're not getting fed. And so listeners and entrepreneurs, remember that. You must always fill yourself up. You can't give what you don't have. I only give you from my overflow. You're not even getting the deep stuff. You're getting the overflow. And that's important, that we constantly fill up and recharge. And that's what I do with my partners, and that's what I call the consultants in Traci Lynn Partners. So if you're interested in becoming a partner with Traci Lynn, it's TraciLynnJewelry.com, but we're more than jewelry, and we really literally are. We sell handbags and accessories, and we really do sell handbags and so much more. But and we're more than that. But Traci Lynn, TraciLynn Jewelry.com. So check us out also on Facebook. My personal page is Dr. Traci Lynn. Instagram, Dr. Traci Lynn. I'm on all social media platforms. Every day you can come a couple of times a day and get something motivational, get a morsel, get some water, come and check into the site. But I'd love to have you in the business.
Well, Dr. Lynn, we thank you for joining us and love you for the work that you do. Well, this has been the Build on Beauty podcast, where beauty is born skin deep. I'm your host, Cornell Jermaine. Until next time, let your soul be made whole. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Build on Beauty podcast. For more information about our host, please visit CornellJermaine.com.